I see you. I see the exhaustion in your eyes and the weight you've been carrying while wondering if justice is even real. You've watched them win over and over, haven't you? It feels like the universe is playing a cruel joke, letting them thrive while you're left picking up the pieces of a life they shattered. But hang on. You've probably spent many sleepless nights asking God or the universe why they get to walk away smiling while you're left in the wreckage. It looks like they have the new car, the new partner, and the perfect reputation. It feels unfair. It feels like they've cheated the system of life. But I need you to listen very closely now. There is a concept I call the final debt, and it's something every narcissist eventually has to pay. You see, life has a way of balancing the books when we aren't looking. While you're focused on your healing, a much darker bill is being tallied up for them behind the scenes. This isn't about revenge, it's about spiritual law. We often mistake their lack of consequences for an escape. We see them laughing on social media and think they've gotten away with it. But you have to understand that a narcissist's life is built on a foundation of borrowed light and stolen joy. They are living on credit, and the interest rates are higher than you can imagine. Have you ever noticed how they never seem truly at peace, even when they have everything they want? That's the first sign of the debt. They are constantly running, constantly consuming, and constantly hunting for the next person to drain. It's a frantic, desperate energy that hides behind a very expensive and shiny mask. You might feel like you're the one who lost, but in reality, you were the one who was set free from a sinking ship. They didn't win you, they just lost their best source of life. And now, they have to find someone else to trick into fuel because they have nothing inside themselves. That is a terrifying way to live, friend. The brutal ending prepared for them isn't a sudden strike of lightning. It's much more poetic and much more devastating than that. It's a slow-motion collision with the truth. It is the moment when the world stops providing them with the mirrors they need to feel real. And that moment is coming for them, just as sure as gravity. I want to invite you into a deeper understanding of what is actually happening to them while you are doing the hard work of recovering. You aren't crazy for wanting justice, but you might be looking for it in the wrong places. Real justice isn't a public shaming. It's the quiet, cold reality of what their life becomes. Think about the energy it takes to maintain a lie for decades. Think about the exhaustion of having to manipulate every single person you meet just to feel okay. That is the prison they've built for themselves. They think they are the jailers, but they are actually the only ones who can never leave the cell. It's heavy. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on that final debt. We are going to talk about the ending that is already in motion, whether you can see it yet or not. By the end of this, I want you to feel a sense of peace that doesn't depend on them failing, but on the truth of how the universe truly handles a hollow soul. To understand the ending, you have to understand the void. A narcissist isn't a person with a big ego. They are a person with no self at all. Imagine a house with a beautiful front door and manicured gardens, but when you step inside, there are no floors, no furniture, and no people. Just a dark, echoing, empty space. Because they have no internal sense of value, they have to steal it from people like you. They are like a black hole that consumes light but can never become a star. This is why they were so obsessed with you in the beginning. You were the sun, and they were freezing. But a black hole doesn't appreciate the light, it just eats. This creates a psychological hunger that can never be satisfied. No matter how much money, fame, or supply they get, the void remains. This is their secret torment. They are eternally hungry. Imagine eating the finest meal in the world but never feeling full. That is the narcissist's daily experience of existence. Their internal chaos is a storm that never stops. They use you as a lightning rod to catch all their shame and self-hatred. When they were gaslighting you, they were actually trying to project their own madness onto you so they wouldn't have to feel it. It's a survival mechanism, but it's one that eventually stops working. They believe they are superior, but deep down, they are terrified of being ordinary. To them, being ordinary is the same as being dead. So they create these grand narratives and heroic personas. But the older they get, the harder it is to keep the narrative going. The mirrors they use to see their greatness start to crack. Their motives are never about love. They are about management. They manage people like assets on a balance sheet. But the problem with treating people like objects is that objects eventually break or get lost. When a narcissist runs out of people to manipulate, they are forced to look into the void alone. And they hate it. Think of their life as a long-running play where they are the only director, lead actor, and audience. They spend every waking hour rehearsing their lines and adjusting the lighting. But eventually, the theater starts to crumble. The actors quit. The audience leaves. And the lights go out. That is when the debt starts to call. They don't have a soul home. They are emotional nomads, moving from person to person, leaving scorched earth behind them. They think they are escaping their past, but they are actually carrying it with them like a heavy, invisible backpack. Every lie they've ever told is a stone in that pack, and it's getting heavier. You sensed this, didn't you? Even when things were good, you felt that underlying tension. You felt the darkness beneath the charm. That was your intuition telling you that you were standing on the edge of a bottomless pit. You tried to fill it with your love, but you can't fill a hole that has no bottom. It's impossible. The final debt is the accumulation of all that emptiness. It is the interest on a lifetime of emotional bankruptcy. They've spent decades spending other people's souls, and now the cosmic bank is calling for a payment they cannot make. They have no internal currency. They are broke in the only way that actually matters. The turning point often begins with a silence you didn't see coming. It starts when the charm stops working on the people who matter. Maybe they lose a job, or a long-term partner finally walks away, or their children stop calling. Suddenly, the audience they've spent years cultivating is no longer interested in the show. This is the stage where the mask doesn't just slip, it shatters. In the past, they could just find a new victim, but as time goes on, their game becomes transparent. People see the patterns. The rumors catch up. The trail of broken hearts and ruined lives becomes too long to ignore. The world is finally catching on to them. Watch how they react when they lose control. It's not a pretty sight. The composed, professional, or the saintly parent turns into a raging, desperate child. They will try to burn everything down on their way out, but their fire no longer has the power to scorch you. You've moved beyond their reach, and that kills them. Imagine them sitting in a room, staring at a phone that isn't ringing. They try to send a manipulative text, but it's ignored. They try to start a smear campaign, but no one believes the lies anymore. This is the beginning of the isolation. The narcissist's greatest fear is being alone with the one person they hate, themselves. The power shift happens the moment you stop reacting. When you stop defending yourself, stop explaining, and stop caring about their opinion, you take back the remote control to your life. They are left clicking buttons on a TV that has been unplugged. It's a pathetic sight, really. A ghost trying to haunt a house. They will scramble. Oh, they will scramble. They might try to hoover you back with fake apologies or health scares. They might try to show off a new partner to make you jealous. But if you look closely, you'll see the desperation in their eyes. It's a frantic attempt to prove they still exist. They are fighting for air. The turning point is when they realize that they are no longer the protagonist of your story. You've demoted them to a background character, or better yet, you've edited them out entirely. For a narcissist, being ignored is a fate worse than being hated. Hate is still energy, silence is a vacuum. And they cannot breathe in it. The walls start closing in as their health, their looks, or their status begins to fade. These were the only things they used to secure supply. When the external glitter is gone, there is nothing left to attract a new victim. They are left with the dry, bitter remains of a life lived for appearance. The reality is setting in. It's a slow burn realization. They start to see that they are the common denominator in every failed relationship and every conflict. Most people would use this for growth, but the narcissist uses it for more bitterness. They become a caricature of themselves, angry, paranoid, and profoundly, deeply, cosmically alone. This is the moment the universe steps in. It's not a loud event. It's the sound of a door locking from the outside. They are trapped in the personality they created. They wanted to be special, and now they are specially isolated. The turning point is the transition from predator to prisoner of their own design. Now we enter the collapse. This is the brutal part of the debt. It's the stage where the narcissist's life becomes a hall of mirrors reflecting only their mistakes. Every bridge they burned is now a path they can no longer take. Every person they used is now a witness to their true nature. There is nowhere left to hide. The consequences are often quiet but devastating. It's the holiday where no one visits. It's the hospital stay where no one sits by the bed. It's the realization that they have built a kingdom of sand, and the tide is coming in. They spent their whole lives being important, and now they are simply irrelevant. I've seen this happen to the great narcissists, the leaders, the patriarchs, the socialites. In the end, they are often surrounded by paid help or people who are only there out of a sense of grim duty. There is no warmth. There is no legacy of love. There is only a ledger of transactions that has finally reached zero. They are haunted by the people who escaped. You are one of the ghosts that keeps them up at night. Not because they miss you, but because your absence is a constant reminder that they failed to break you. Your healing is a stinging indictment of their pathology. Every day you are happy, they feel the weight of their debt. The collapse of the false self is a psychological death. When they can no longer pretend to be the hero, they have to face the monster they've been hiding. Most narcissists will do anything to avoid this, leading to more extreme behavior, more addictions, or total withdrawal. They are crumbling from the inside out, literally. Think of the final debt as the moment they have to sit in the silence of their own soul. For you, silence is peace. For them, silence is a scream. It's the sound of every person they hurt, every lie they told, and every opportunity for real love they threw away for a cheap thrill. It's an unbearable noise for a hollow person. They lose the one thing they valued most, their image. In the digital age, their reputation is harder to protect. The truth has a way of leaking out of the cracks. Eventually, even their most loyal enablers get tired of the drama. One by one, the people who prop them up walk away, exhausted by the constant demands. They end up in a prison of paranoia. Because they manipulate everyone, they believe everyone is manipulating them. They can never trust anyone. They spend their final years looking over their shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop. This constant state of high cortisol fear is the physical manifestation of their debt. It's important to understand that this isn't a win for you in a petty way. It's a tragedy. It's the tragedy of a wasted human life. But it is a necessary consequence of the choices they made. You cannot sow seeds of thorns and expect to harvest roses. They are simply eating the fruit of the garden they planted years ago. The ending God or the universe prepares for them is the removal of the mask. They are forced to see themselves as they truly are, without the filters, without the fans, and without the fuel. It is a cold, lonely, and honest ending. The debt is called the final debt, because it is the one they can never, ever pay back. While they are facing their collapse, I want you to focus on your ascent. You have survived something that was designed to destroy your very essence. You were in the fire, but you didn't burn, you were forged. The narcissist was just a test of your boundaries, your self-love, and your connection to the truth. Their brutal ending is not your responsibility. You don't need to check their social media to see if they've failed yet. You don't need to wait for a phone call to know you were right. Their failure is written into their DNA. Your job is to stop being the witness to their destruction and start being the creator of your life. Reclaiming your light is the ultimate form of justice. When you find joy again, when you trust again, and when you laugh without checking over your shoulder, you have won. The narcissist wanted to steal your capacity for wonder. Taking it back and making it even brighter is how you settle the accounts for good. Think of it this way. The universe has removed them from your path because you have a destination they aren't allowed to see. They were a roadblock, a detour, a hard lesson. But now the road is clear. The final debt they owe is to the universe. Your debt to them was paid in full the day you finally walked away. You are no longer a victim. You are a survivor who has become a thriver. The pain you felt was just the breaking of the shell that held your power. Now that you are out, you can see that the narcissist was never the giant they pretended to be. They were just a small, scared person hiding behind a very large, loud shadow. Walk away into the sunshine of your own life. Don't look back to see if the building is falling. It already is. Focus on the garden you are planting now. Focus on the people who truly see you and cherish you. Focus on the peace that comes from knowing you are a person of integrity, empathy, and genuine, lasting depth. God or the universe doesn't forget the tears you cried in the dark. Every single one was recorded. The justice you seek is already unfolding in the quiet spaces of their life. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to say anything. The truth is its own judge, jury, and executioner. You are free to just be. Find peace in the quiet they fear. Learn to love your own company, because that is something they will never be able to do. Your ability to sit in a room alone and feel content is a superpower they can only dream of. That contentment is the evidence that you have a soul, and that soul is healthy, vibrant, and whole. The final truth is this: you were always the prize, and they were always the one who lost. They threw away a diamond because they didn't know how to handle something so bright. But the diamond doesn't lose its value just because a blind person couldn't see it. You are still brilliant. You are still priceless. The final debt the narcissist pays is the realization that while they were busy trying to destroy your world, they completely forgot to build a soul of their own. You are free now, and that is the only justice that truly matters. Your light was never theirs to keep, and now, it's finally home where it belongs. Stay strong.